morning, everybody. It's John from our Hodgepodge Homestead. This morning I'm going to show you how we can our venison. I know this isn't, if you're out there in the homesteading community, there's a million of these videos out and you probably know how to do it. This is for those people that are going to do it someday, but just haven't got to that point yet where they're ready to commit to do something that's this easy. But when you're dealing with the pressure canner, sometimes that word pressure can is intimidating. It's not intimidating. It's very, 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 very simple. All you have to do is take your meat, put it in your jars, try to get any big air pockets out, pack it down so that you're right about to this ring right here, to this bottom ring. You want to make sure your jars are sterile. Make sure your meat is as clean as you can make your meat. And like I said, you want to poke these down, get rid of any air pockets that may be down there in the bottom. I don't put any spices or anything in ours. Before I used to, and it never really made a difference. So now I pretty much just leave it plain, and if we want to jazz it up when we're making whatever we're making with it, we do at that time. I've got an American canner over there where I can do 14 of these pints at a time. So that makes it go a little faster. But where I live, you want to do 10 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes. Anytime you do any meat product, you want to go 90 minutes, whether it's chicken, pork, venison, beef. I'm not sure about fish. But it's pretty simple. Make sure you have all of your required equipment. You need your jars, your rings, your lids. This morning, first big snowstorm of the year in Michigan, I had to go out and get lids because I only had 10 of them. This is going to be a batch of 14. We burgered almost all of our other deer we've gotten this year, and this one I took the hindquarters and cut it up into venison chunks. I cut them in about 1-inch squares, sometimes a little bigger, sometimes a little smaller. Just depends on whatever it is that's in front of me. Okay, so once you've got all your jars filled with whatever you're putting in them, you want to clean your lids off with a clean paper towel and vinegar. Not your lids, your jar, the tips of your jars. You want to make sure that there's no residue on them. What could happen if they don't seal right, because there might be a little chunk of meat on there or something. It doesn't feel right. If ever you're in doubt, these are cheap enough. We started using these rings for different things, and I think some of them might have got mixed in with the rings we only can with, so I'm not going to risk those. But anyway, whenever you're in doubt of something when you're canning, just stop where you're at, look at what you're doing, because it's not worth, you know, your time and your effort, and especially this animal's life, to not be able to use every bit of it. And if you lose some because you didn't do something that's real simple that you should have done, then it takes away from what you're doing. So anyway, we want to get all these, wipe the vinegar around them all, and then I pour extra vinegar in this jar, or in this bowl, and then when I'm done with wiping these lids off, or jars off, I'll dump the rest of this vinegar right into my canner. And the reason being is we live on a well, and it's hard water, and if you don't put the vinegar in there, your jars will come out with just like a white, almost like some chalk dried on the side of your jars. Doesn't hurt them, but it's not too pleasing to the eye, and a little bit of vinegar keeps that from happening. So just a little quick tip there. Again, in this American canner, I can double stack. I could actually do 7 quarts and 7 pints in this American canner. Some American canners you can do 14 quarts. I don't have that big old monster one though, but that's okay. I've got that canner, and I've got 2 Presto canners that you can buy at Walmart for like, I think they're like 50 bucks. And that's all I ever used until I came home to this surprise one day a few years ago. And a little different system. They actually have a gasket that's on them that sits up inside the lid, where this one is just metal on metal. And I'll show you how that works. Alright, I just added a little bit more water to the canner, and now I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. Want to line these up. There's a little arrow right here. You just turn it so that they line up. And you take these little handles and you kind of just tighten down each one as you go together, aside from across from each other. And it's kind of like doing lug nuts. You do them at the same time. I usually do it twice. That way it seals that lid down even all the way around. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on high. I'm going to let this come up to a boil. What's going to happen is, out of this steam valve here, it's going to start steaming. Once that steams for 10 minutes, you'll see a constant thing of steam coming up out of that. Once that happens for 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and put my weight on. And again, our weight here in Michigan is a 10-pound weight. This is a multi-weight. You got 5, 10, and 15 pounds of pressure. I don't know where you'd use 5 pounds of pressure. I guess if you're like right at sea level. But out west, they have to go with 15 pounds because they're higher. But anyway, here in Michigan, we do 10. So what's going to happen is this is going to come up, and this is going to start releasing steam. It's going to start venting the steam out. I'll come and I'll put my 10-pound weight on there. This is called a tattler, because every 3 or 4 times a minute, it'll kind of do that. Put this on after 10 minutes. So when this comes to 10 pounds pressure, you start your timer for 90 minutes. Now some of them don't have this gauge, so all you go by is your tattler. And usually when that tattler is telling you it's releasing pressure 3 or 4 times a minute, it's where it needs to be. So this is going to take a while to get up to heat. So once it does, we'll be back with you. Okay guys, so earlier I showed you the American canner and its different style with the pressure gauge and the venting system. Well, this is a Presto canner. This is one you buy at Walmart, 50, 60 bucks, whatever it is, and it's the only one we had for a long time. Oh yeah, the seal. You want to put a little bit of vegetable oil on this seal every time you use it. This comes right out. Just put a little bit of vegetable on with your finger, just so it's lubed up a little bit. And this is actually going to go in between. It's going to wrap around these little lips here, and that's what will help it to seal. But you want to put it up. Basically, you want to start off so your arrow here and your arrow here match, and then you just go like that. And now it is to the point where it's sealed. Now again, the weight system on this one's just a little different. There's 5, there's 10, and if we added this one, that would be 15 pounds. Again, we only need 10 pounds. It's a little different system here. You're going to turn it on high. Your pressure, your steam's going to start coming out of here. When it comes out steady for 10 minutes, you add your weight. And then what's going to happen is it's going to seal, and this little knob right here is going to pop up, and that means that it's sealed. And you've got a relief pressure valve over here that if something goes awry, this will pop out and you lose your pressure real slow. But again, never had a single issue with this canner. It's canned hundreds and hundreds of jars, and it's, you know, I use it right along with the American canner. I've actually got another one. I'm not sure what brand it is, but I got it from Heather's grandpa when he passed away, and I actually went and bought a new gasket for it the pressure gauge works and everything, so I'll implement that into our canning next year. So we'll get these going, and then we'll come back once they're up to pressure. Okay, so on a cold, blistery day here in Michigan, I decided to move this operation outside. We don't have a gas range, and I think with this and this sitting on those coil burners, I think it would have been a little bit too much weight, and I didn't want to take that chance on our stove. So this summer at a garage sale, we picked up a Camp Chef for 45 bucks, steal of the summer. So I'm doing it out here. It's pretty brisk. It's pretty. I might have to adjust this depending on what the wind starts doing, but it'll do it just fine out here. Once this reaches temperature, it won't know it's cold outside. All right, everybody, as you can tell, it's been steaming. This is what I mean when the steam comes out. It's been doing this for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So I'm going to put a 10-pound weight on it. That stays up. That means the canner is pressurized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my timer for 90 minutes. And so in an hour and 30 minutes, this one will be done. The American canner, granted, it's larger. There's 16 cans of meat in there, so it hasn't really started steaming yet. I mean, I can feel it coming out, but it's not been a total line. So I'm going to crank this up just a little bit. Remember, I'm in 25 degrees, something like that. I don't know. It's pretty chilly, but the wind's staying off of up here. Initially, when I set them out here, I had a gust of wind that came in, blew in snow, and I thought I might have to move these. So, but you know, you wanna keep your eye on these anyway, even if you're doing them on the stove. You don't want to just walk away and go take a walk in the woods and not watch them. You do want to pay attention to them, because if I were to lose pressure on this for any reason, I would have to completely start my time over. I don't care if I'm 10 minutes away from being done. If I lose pressure, I got to start over for an hour and 30 minutes. So anyway, I'll be back with you when this one starts steaming. I can see the steam coming up out of it now. Just barely starting to come up, but when that's a full steam, like this one was I showed you, then we'll be ready to go. Now, another thing that I'm going to do when these are done, I'm not going to take these outside. I'll actually pick these up and I'll bring them right in the house, let them cool down in the house, and let them come off of pressure in the house, and then I'll take them out in the house, because if I were to bring that hot jar out here, it would probably break in my hand. So, alright, we'll be back with you when we're done. Hey guys, okay, the canners came off of pressure. You notice this is down, no more steam, no more steam. This one is all the way down to nothing. But I think if I lift this, I'm probably going to get a little come off, just a little, so I'm going to leave that. This one is good to go, which means I can now open it. A lot of times you can just sit there and leave it overnight if you want, but I don't want to leave these out overnight, so I'm going to take care of them right now. So it's open. You always want to open it so the steam does, you want to open it away from you so the steam doesn't come up in your face. And there we go. And I forgot my little lifters. They're downstairs, so I'll just use a rag. There we go. Still bubbling on the inside. Some people say it looks like dog food. If dog food tasted like that, I'd be eating Alpo. Uh-oh, one broke. Huh. That's never happened canning meat before. Might have had a faulty jar. When I picked that one up, and boy, it sure did felt light in my hand. Well, the worst thing about that is not the loss of the jar, it's the loss of a whole can's worth of meat. And that could have been, you know, I might have tightened it too tight, or in a bad jar or anything. You know, it's really no telling what causes it. It didn't come down from pressure too fast. Could have been being out in the cold, but I don't think so. Anyway, we'll whole bottom broke right out of it. So I'll keep my ring, throw the lid and the jar away. Okay, so we're going to open up the American canner now. You want to undo them the same way you did them up, across from each other. And then we'll check out all this goodness coming out of here. One year during deer season, we processed, was it 82 pints?
Something like that.
That was a boomer year. This has turned out to be a boomer year too, but we've done a lot of burger also. 16 are going to come out of here. We would have had 24, but one broke. Hopefully there's no other broken ones down here. There's a little one. And we'll let these sit out here. I'll probably maybe take care of them this evening. Otherwise they'll just stay here overnight. And we'll put them down in the pantry either tonight or tomorrow. Depends on if they've cooled down all the way. We'll just mark the top with the ear and a V for venison. Some of them are already popping. And again, for those of you that have never canned meat, very, very, very simple. If you can make jelly, you can can meat. There's more to making jelly than there is a can of meat. And this was the raw pack method. Put it in raw. And actually, that hour and a half that it's in there, it's cooked. It's fully cooked right now. You can open one up, eat it right out of the jar. My son has actually done that. He'll open it up. Even with the goat, he'll open the goat meat up and eat it right out of the jar. I gotta dress my goat meat up a little bit, but if I was starving and it was a poop hit the fan situation, I would be eating it. So that's our version of canning venison. Probably one of the only things we don't do that isn't hodgepodge. We pretty much stick to the standards. And you've really got to follow the rules and regulations of canning meat. You know, there's the risk of botulism if you don't do it the right way. We've never gotten sick from anything we've canned, so I think we're doing it right. You know, so get your deer, grind some, cut some up in 1-inch cubes and can it. You'll love it. Here at Hodgepodge Homestead, we love canned venison, and you should too. We'll see you later. Have a good week.